Biochemical condition and crime. Biochemical influence. Criminal behavior, especially violent, can result from the biofactors such as diet, hormonal imbalance, vitamins deficiencies, and food allergies. Neurophysiological factors. Brain activity, structure, damage, and chemical are linked violent crime. Genetic factors. Criminal traits may be inherited, and children of criminal parents are more likely to engage in violence. Biosocial arousal theory. Hans J. Insick. Crime can stem from low arousal level, which reduce the ability to learn social acceptable response to aggression, and violence. Family study on heredity and crime. Joke family, Logtale and Estabrook. Highlights difficulty in isolating hereditary influence from the environmental factors in criminal behavior.
Now, I'm gonna explain about the heredity in crime. So, accordingly, heredity transmits single trait and characteristic from parent to offspring. Criminality of the offspring is used to determine the nature of the parent and nature of their crime. However, modern criminologists seem not to accept the role of heredity in the formation of criminal behavior. So, heredity means that it is that the criminal behavior or the trait will be passed again through the genetics, which is can be inherited by the son or the children of the criminal or the offenders. So there's some study under the heredity crime. The Joke family tree and the Kalikak family tree. In Joke family tree by Dugdale Estabrook, a family of mental degenerates, means that it's a family that is below the standard or the norms of the society, the normal norms of society. And person named Max, and Max is descendants of Dutch settlers in New York. Mary Ada Joke, one of the 6 illegitimate sisters of the family and who subsequently come to be known as the mother of criminals. Kalikak family tree by Henry Goddard. Crime is the result of low-grade mentality, primarily feeble-mindedness. Feeble-mindedness, it means that person is called to be low intelligence person who was below the average of intelligence, and which is inherited quality of criminals. So, a feeble-minded girl has an illicit relationship with Martin Kilikak, resulting in the birth of an illegitimate son. By the way, sir, there's a 2 lines of Kilikak family. There's good and bad, and the bad is about the birth of an illegitimate son, which is from the barmaid girl, and another line is the good line, which is from the success one or the low abiding one, which is not the case of criminality. So next is Sir Jonathan Edwards family tree. It may be stated that the influence of heredity on a person's behavior can't be satisfactorily established since it's not be possible to isolate the hereditary factors from various kinds of environment factors. It may be, however, be considered that certain physical and mental traits may be inherited, which can indirectly result in criminal behavior. Means that uh, it's it's very impossible to isolate a person from the environment or some social factors that can ano to, influence them to commit a crime, while it maybe the reason why some of the scientists say it's not sapat. So, but some of the criminalities like mental and physical traits are inherited. They'll see it physically and they can observe it mentally. So from the Sir Jonathan Edwards family tree. So the next topic I will discuss is about the gene-based theory. So it is a general approach that suggests that the process of natural selection has resulted in criminal genetic tendencies that are passed down from generation to generation. So there's have two syndrome, XYY and XXY syndrome. So the first one, XYY syndrome, this is a rare chromosomal condition where males have an extra Y chromosome instead of the typical XY. Early research suggested that individuals with XYY syndrome were more prone to violent behavior, but later studies found that the link between XYY syndrome and criminality was not as strong as initially thought. So the next one syndrome is double XY. So some are called this as Klinefelter syndrome. This is another chromosomal condition that affects males where they have two X chromosomes and one Y chromosome. People with Klinefelter syndrome can have various development issues, and some studies have suggested that might have a high risk of antisocial behavior. This is debated. So, the next topic I will explain is the twin and adoption studies. So, here, basahin ko muna. This is a studies attempting to address the hereditary basis of criminality by examining traditional families have largely been abandoned since it is essentially impossible to disentangle the effects of nature, such as genes, from those of nature or nurture, which is environment. This prompted researchers to study twins and adoptees. So, twin adoption studies refers to studies that have been done with children reared by biological parents compared to their siblings or twins reared by adoptive parents in an attempt to demonstrate a genetic link to criminal behavior. So, these studies focus on the questions of whether criminal behavior is inherited or shaped by the environment. By comparing identical twins who share the same genetic makeup with fraternal twins who do not, researchers can examine how much of criminal behavior is influenced by genetic versus the environment. Adoption studies similarly look at the children who are adopted and compare their behavior with that of their biological and adoptive parents. These studies have shown that both genetics and environment contribute to the criminal behavior. So that's all from the twin and adoption studies. So the next one is the Johannes Lange Lange, 1929. Crime as Destiny all tend to show greater similarity of criminal behavior among identical than among fraternal twins. So, in Johannes Lange conducted a study in 1929 where he compared the criminal behavior of identical twins. He found that if one identical twin had been involved in crime, the other twin had a higher likelihood of also committing a crimes. Lange study helped to support the theory that genetics might play a role in criminal behavior, but it was still unclear whether this was due to the nature of genetics or nurture, which is environment. So the last topic I will explain is the Grove Christiansen. Christiansen. They both found evidence that antisocial behavior can be inherited. So Grove and Christiansen are two researchers who in the 1970s conducted a study on the twins to investigate the genetic influence on criminal behavior. They found that identical twins were more likely to both engage in criminal behavior compared to fraternal twins, which suggests that genetics play a significant role. However, as with previous studies, they acknowledge that the environment also play a key role in shaping behavior. So that's all for the discussion I have. So in summary, while there is evidence suggesting that genetics can influence criminal behavior, criminologists generally agree that both genetic and environmental factors interact to shape an individual's likelihood of committing crimes. Environmental factors like upbringing, socio-economic status, and education can also have a powerful impact on criminal behavior. So, that's
Limitation of adaptive studies. Adaptive studies show how genetics and environment affects behavior but face issues like selective placement, limited diversity, early experience, and privacy concerns. Example, if a child with artistic biological parents is adopted by a family that values art, it's hard to tell whether the child with artistic talent comes from the genetics and environment. Yung sa 3 division of mind, pinakauna dun is yung conscious. Conscious is these are think you know or think about right now. Example, what you are doing right now like reading and listening. Yung pangalawa naman is yung preconscious. Yung preconscious, ito po yung hindi mo po siya iniisip palagi or wala ka masyadong impormasyon na ginagamit sa pang-araw-araw pero naalala mo siya palagi. Kunyari example yung pag tinanong ka kung kailan yung birthday ng kaibigan mo, nasasagot mo siya agad kahit na hindi mo to iniisip palagi. Yun po yung sa preconscious. Yung pinakahuli naman po is yung unconscious. Yung unconscious po, ito po yung yung kasalukuyan mong iniisip. Yung sa preconscious kasi ito yung madali mong maaalala. Ayun po, sir.
Three components of personality. ID. The ID, the most basic, family, and instinctive part of our personality. Its entire execution, meaning we are not aware to work its operation solely to the pleasure principle seeking immediate gratification of basic needs and desire, regards of social norms of or consequences. Example, the ID drives or hunger, triggers sexual urges and aggressive impulsion. 2. Ego, the monitor. Meaning, the ego develops from the during in function and operates on this reality principle, acts the mediator between the edge humans and the concert of the real work. The ego seeks to safety and ID desert in a realistic and social acceptable way. Example, the ego helps us to delay gratification plan for the future and make decisions based on logic and reason. It helps us to navigate social situation and control our influences. Number 3, superego. The superego develops during childhood influenced by parental and societal values. It represents our intimate sense of morality and acts as our constitution. The superego strive for perfection and seek to control the ID influence and often through the guilt. Example, the superego tells us what is right and wrong based on our learning values.
5 Psychosocial stage of human development. 1. Oral stage. The oral stage is the first stage of physical development where the baby's main source of pleasure and satisfaction is the mouth. This is because the mouth is important for feeding and the baby derives pleasure from oral situation. Truthfully, activities such as sucking, gaping, and testing to infant depends on caregiving for feeding. Also contributes to feelings of trust and comfort. 2. Anal stage. This the child learns to control their body needs which brings a sense of achievements and defends the way parents approach toilet training plays in an important role in the child development. Number 3. Phallic stage. According to period experiences, the electric complex and similar set of emotion but with a focus on penis and period believe that woman wanted to dare up others and resented their mothers because of their lack of gentility. Ultimately, the child identifies with the same parent which resolve the complex and formats their gender identity. Number 4. Literacy stage. This stage is important for developing social and communication skill as well as self-confident. Period believe that entanglement at this stage could result in young an inability to form satisfying relationship as an adult. And the last one is genital stage. Genital stage. Period believe that if the previous stage were successful completed, the individual should be balanced, warm, and caring.
Latency stage, from age 7 to 11 years old. This when sensual motives subside and psychological energy is channeled into conventional activities such as schoolwork. Children's sexual impulses become suppressed, the libido is dormant, and no further psychosexual development occurs. Latency stage examples is developing a personality, repressing sexual impulses, developing a superego, comparing self-worth to others, manifestation of previous fixations. Genital stage. Genital stage from adolescence through adulthood. Further, psychosexual individuals develop mature sexual interests. The genital stage is the final stage of psychosexual development and is characterized by the development of mature sexual feelings and the establishment of a fully developed ego. Genital stage examples is sexual interest, sexual contact, relationships, role in society, superego development. Next is psychosocial stage of development. Erik Erikson's theory. Erik Erikson strongly emphasized social influences within the family. Erikson's 8 stages span the entire life course and contrary to Freud's conflict in the social world with 2 possible outcomes. Erikson's theory thus emphasizes the interaction of internal psychological social world. Psychosocial development stages are the theory of Erik Erikson that describes the stages of human development. First is trust versus mistrust. The first stage, which occurs between birth of 1 year of age. Autonomy versus shame and doubt. This stage occurs between 18 months and 3 years of age. Initiative versus guilt. This stage can help children develop leadership skills and a sense of purpose. Next is industry versus inferiority. This stage is when children build confidence, acquire new skills, and figure out what they are good at. Next is role confusion. This stage is when people learn about different social roles such as friend, student, citizen, and child. Next is intimacy versus isolation. This stage occurs during young adulthood between the age of 18 to 40 and is when people form intimate relationships. Next is generativity versus stagnation. This stage occurs in middle adulthood and people develop a concern for guiding the next generation. Integrity versus despair is this final stage occurs in old age when people look back on their life and decide if they are happy with what they contributed. Next is psychoanalytic theories. Refers to a set of psychological theories and therapeutic techniques that are based on the ideas of Sigmund Freud and his followers. These theories focus on the influence of unconscious mind, early childhood experiences, and interpersonal relationships on individuals through feelings and behaviors. Next is Alfred Adler theory, the founder of individual psychology. He coined the term in inferiority complex. He posits that a person who has strong feelings of inferiority may behave in a superior way of development, some special skill to compensate for the supposed inadequacy. Alfred Adler in 1870 to 1937 was an Australian psychiatrist and psychotherapist who is best known as the founder of individual psychology, a school of thought that emphasized the unique motivations of individuals and the importance of social factors in personality development. Psychology Adler's work has had a lasting impact on psychology and psychotherapy. His ideas have inspired various therapeutic approaches, including counseling and education. His ideas on social interests and community have been applied in educational settings to promote collaboration and positive social interactions. Overall, Alfred's theory individual psychology marks a significant development in the understanding of human behavior, emphasizing the importance of social context, relational dynamics, and the pursuit of personal meaning. Next is Next is the theory of Eichhorn. He said in his book entitled Wayward Youth that the cause of crime and delinquency is the faulty development of the child during the first few years and his life. Charlotte Eichhorn contributed significantly to the understanding of the emotional and psychological complexities of childhood. The the interplay between individual development and social dynamics. She promoted a compassionate, child-centered approach in education and psychology that remains influential today. Um, next is the theory of Abrahamson. He explained the causes of crime by this formula. Like criminal behavior equals criminalistic tendencies plus situation and person's resistance to temptation. Next is Cyril Bird. Next is the theory of Cyril Bird, Young Delinquent, 1925. He proposed the theory of general emotionality. According to him, many offenses can be traced to either in excess or a deficiency of a particular instinctive drive. Fear and absconding may be due to the impulse of fear. Callous type of offenders may be due to the deficiency in the primitive emotions of love and an excuse of the instinct of hate. Intelligence and Crime by Cyril Bird. While he didn't directly link low intelligence to criminality, his work suggested that individuals with lower intelligence might be more susceptible to factors that lead to criminal behavior.
Haley, individual delinquency. Haley claimed the crime is an expression of mental content of individual. Frustration of individual causes emotional discomfort personality demands removal of pain is limited by substitute that is crime delinquency of the individual. For example, selling fake product. An individual sells a fake product at a cheaper price to make money. He knows it illegal, but he keep doing it for his own benefit. Next, Blumberg, Crime and the Mind, 1946. He claimed that criminality is a result of emotional immaturity. A person is emotional mature when he has learned to control his emotion effectively and who lives of peace with himself and harmony which the standards of con- conduct which are acceptable to the society. An emotional mature person rebels against rules and regulates tend to engage to usual activities and experience feeling of guilt due to inferiority complex. For example, Bulatao used drugs, alcohol, cigarettes to forget his problem. He knows it was wrong, but he had a hard time controlling himself, so he did it again and again. Gilliland. He proposed the following five determinants of one's personality. Gilliland, five determinants of personality. These factors are intelligence, number two, aggressive or forceful, number three, sociability, number four, personal appearance, number five, morality. Unan mo na. Number one, intelligence. A person's ability to reason that critically and solve problems is to play a significant role in shaping how they interact with the world and others. Example, a person who is quick to grasp new accept and can solve problems efficiently in their job shows how intelligence shapes their success in workplace. Number two, aggressive, aggressive, aggressive or forcefulness. Aggressive or forcefulness. This refer to a person's tendency to assert themselves and their opinions. It influences their ability to lead, take charge, or sometimes dominate situation. And for example, an individual who take charge during group discussions and insists on their idea or pushing for action demonstrates assertiveness in leadership roles. Next, 3. Sociability. Sociability, a person level of comfort in social settings and their ability to interact with others. Sociable individuals tend to be more outgoing, friendly, and engaging. For example, a person enjoy attending attending parties, making new friends easily, and engaging in conversation with strangers is showing high sociability. Number 4, personal personal appearance. Personal appearance, the way person present themselves physically, including clothing, grooming, and body language. It can impact first expression and how others perceive them. For example, someone who dresses neatly, maintain good hygiene, and carries themselves with confidence often leaves a positive first impression on other. Last, number 5, morality. Morality, a person's sense of right and wrong and their ethical standards. It affect their decision making and behavior in various situations. For example, a person who consistently choose to help others, he following the rules and act which with integrity in difficult situation shows a strong moral characters. Next, Carl Jung. Carl Jung, he identified 4 fractions of personality. 1. Sensation, concerned with here and now. Sensation, this functions focuses on perceiving the world through the senses and being present in the moment. Number 2, intuition. Intuition deals with perceiving possibility, meaning, and pattern beyond immediate reality. For example, in criminology, intuition may lead an investigator to 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 suspect a particular motive or pattern in series of crime even before all evidence for before be, before all evidence evi- evidence has been gathered based on sense of underlying connection of behavior. Number 3, feeling. Concern with the sense of value. Feeling these factions evaluate situations based on emotions, value, and personal importance. Number 4, thinking. Thinking, concern with abstract things. Thinking focuses on logic, reasoning, and analyzing analyzing abstract ideas. For example, criminologists may use logical reasoning to analyze patterns in crime data, including include, include, including that the rise in deaths correlates with economic downturns in specific urban areas. Also, Carl Jung, he identified theory of personality types. Una, extrovert. Pangalawa, introvert. Pangatlo, ambivert. Una, extrovert, typically gregarious and unreserved person who enjoys and seek out social interaction. Mean to say, an extrovert is someone who thrives in social situation, enjoying interaction and feeling energized by being around others. Pangalawa, ambivert, a person who is shy or reserved and enjoys spending time alone. Meaning to say, an extrovert is someone who prefers solitude, often feeling drained by social event and finding peace in quit, quieter a long time. Last, ambivert. Ambivert, a person having characteristic of both extrovert and introvert. Meaning to say, ang ambivert is someone who displays trait of both extroversions and introversions, adapting to different situations as needed. Behavioral perspective and cognitive theories. Behavior theory maintains that human actions are developed through learning experience, meaning behavior theory state that human actions are are formed through learning experiences. This show the behavior are not innate but learned through socialization and experiences around. For example, if a child experiences a positive reaction or reward every every time he help with the housework, he will learn to continue being hardworking and helping others. Social Learn Theory by Albert Bandura. That to review that behavior is modeled through observation, either directly through intimate contact with others or indirectly through intimate contact with others or indirectly through media. Interaction that are rewarded are copied, whereas those that are punished are avoided. Mean to say, These theories show that behaviors learn through observation, either through direct interaction with others or indirect intervention, such as the media. Behaviors that are reinforced or honored are repeated, whereas behaviors that are punished are avoided. For example, if a child sees a positive effect of being polite in the media, he will learn to be polite to get the same positive result. Next, the family may serve as training ground for violence since the child perceives physical punishment as a norm during conflict situations with others. Meaning the family can serve as a training ground of violence because the child sees that punishment is considered normal in conflict situation. Because of this, the child may imitate this type of behavior in their own socialization. For example, if a child often sees physical punishment from his parent when when there is a conflict, he will begin to apply the same violence when there is a misunderstanding with his friends. And lastly, he agreed that people are not actually born with the ability to act violently, but they learn to be aggressive through their life experiences. Bandura state that people are not born with the ability be violent, but they learn to aggressive through their life experiences. Aggression is a behavior learned from surrounding people and experiences. For example, if a child grows up in the environment where violence are normal, he will learn to use aggression to solve problems or conflicts.
Let me greet you first, Sir Harrison Balais. Good day po. I'm your presenter for today. Good day to my group members and group classmates. I hope we learn to each others while discussing the assigned topic. The differential association theories is also known as a group of individual studying behavior of a criminal behavior. Its initiative to understand the cause while a person committing a crime. So especially to appearance, how interaction or problem. So as a student, it is important to you to understand and analyze. uh, I hope you know the most influential person in criminology. He is Edwin H. Sutherland. Edwin H. Sutherland is most most popular person in criminology, Dean of Criminology and father of American criminology. So propose that through the interaction with others, individual learnings, values, attitude, teaching and motives for a criminal behavior po. So the also the structural element with uh, proposited that conflict and social disorganization are the underlying causes the crime, because they determining the pattern of people associated it. So ayan, it's help you to analyze to analyze the criminal behaviors. So it is interaction with others to the process of communication and attitudes. It's great to hear. Um, Next is it's assert that behavior is learned primarily within the interpersonal groups, and that youth will become delinquent if definition they have learned favorable to the violation the violation that law exceed definitions, and favorable to the obeying the law within of the group. So we have 9 lists to understand or key points of determination determination or differential association theories. First is criminal behavior. For example, a teenager will learn to shoplifter by obeying peer who successful steal item from stove stove, gradually adopting similar behavior. Next is criminal behavior communication. Oh, a criminal communication, yan, a criminal behavior is learned in a interaction with others through the process of communication. So my example is a group friend night discuss their experience with 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 uh with sharings uh stories that grumblize that act thus influence each other's attitude towards committing similar offense. Like example, tappings, teaching theft or stealing from others is, is a good is a good behavior. Next is takes place into initiate group. For example, a child drowned in the house where parents frequently 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 engage petty sheep and internalize their behavior as a normal learning. That such the attitude the such the attitude and action are acceptable within their family circle. Um, the next one, number 4, is intimidate group. Children learn techniques for committing crime as well as the appropriate motives, attitude attitude, and 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 ratios on ratios from close close knit of group friends who share tips and justify from their action, believing they are just petting their skill, teaching your friends bad behavior or attitudes. So number 5 is a specific direction of motives and drive is learned. Definition of a legal code being favorable or unfavorable. So, the example, if a child hear that stealing stealing is okay, if you need it from family members, may develop a motive that justifies cheap believing it is acceptable order or certain circumstances. This is this is one factor where a person in a young age learn how to commit a crime. So number 6 is a shall become delinquent, become of an excess of definition with unfavorable. So to violation of laws over definition of unfavorable to violations law, um, uh, obeying peers might ultimately choose to engage criminal behavior if they hear justification for breaking the law from their friends than from their family. Oh, it's it's kind to it's a kind of sharing of bad behavior. um the next one is a tendency tendency towards a delinquent will affected by the frequency duration, which is number 7. During action, priority and intensify of learning experience. So my example to here is a child who frequently attends group meeting, for example, like high school life. In high school life, frequent and in intensity and loss been involved for the several years, long long question may with only be more be more to adopt delinquent behavior from confirmed to or with only occasional explosive, like in a occasion explosive, like bad habits, drinking alcohol with with groups or bad influence, or you are be in a fraternity. Next, number 8 is learning delinquent behavior involve process such in format. So format, observation, and initiate similar to law. Any other's behavior acquire to such action. That's the mechanism of learning remain uh, remain across both delinquent and non-delinquent behavior. So so that is that that is a factor mechanism learning or involve involve delinquent and non-delinquent attitude. And lastly the the behavior and non-criminal behavior. Yun. Again, the criminal behavior and non-criminal behavior in number 9. So my example of this can both can both can both from fundamental human needs such as the desire for acceptance powers or resource. For instance, someone might commit shift to fulfill the financial needs, while another might work hard in a legitimate job to achieve the same goal. Both behavior reflect underlying values and motivation, even if they manifest differently. So to here we have we have two steps to to earn your dreams in a good way and in a negative way. For example, your dream is you want a brand new car, and then you 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 buy your own car in a negative way, like you are stealing to other person to fulfill your needs. Unlike unlike you earn your brand new car in a good way, in a hardship, yun, na hardship to achieve your dreams. So next the next topic is we have behavior expansion of DAT. So we have 5 listed DAT. uh, behavior behaviorism. So the first one is a differential reinforcement. Example, teenager way to choose not shoplift. Shoplift become they recall the punishment they receive. We have fear. We we have fear to believe that such as a behavior will even them approval and belonging. So number three, um, neg- negative reinforcement. For example, a student might tip class to the avoid the exactly and discomfort discomfort of passing a difficult exam. This is keeping painful experience of potential failure or re, re, reprimand from teachers. So the fear to na to not pass the exam, the fear to not escape the year. So yun, that's it. That's it. Number four, positive reinforcement. Uh, the example, an an employee may work overtime to to complete the to complete a project. To complete a project, uh, motivated by the promise of bonus or or income. Yun. The income, the promise to earn earn more earning some money from their boss, which receive as uh, 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 example, a valuable valuable rewards from their efforts, like reward reward flower ay flower, powers, reward powers. So as you see, the employee work hard to earn bonus, and isa isa positive isa positive way sa positive way. So next, lastly, the operant uh, conditioning. For example, a child a child learn to clean their room regularly after receiving is an a small treat from their parents, reinforcing the behavior to the positive feedback and encouraging them to continue the action in a future. And it's a it's a good it's a good way uh, that that uh, that turn to good 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 boy or good girl, and that's that's for a future to be hardworking, and to be not relying in a family, and stand in short stand on their feet, and 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 the actions, and more encouraging to share to share in in a other in a other generation. That's all. That's all. That's all my report for today. And again, my name is Paulo B. Capistrano. Thank you for having me.
My name is Josephina Randoni, Joseph Clark. So operand conditioning by Bievsky. It extends the principle of active learning where a person has to do something to obtain reward or avoid punishment. So sabi dito, the person has to do something to obtain the reward and avoid punishment. So the person, they have to do something to receive and avoid punishment. For example, is the person have to behave for receive some rewards and to avoid punishment. The occurrence of desired behavior is increased by positive reinforcement that eventually extinguished by non-reinforcement. So, according to that, the positive reinforcement is refers to the positive action. For example, is the children is need to do some her homeworks. So her parents ask her if she finishes her homework, she give her money or buy her some food or what she wants. So the negative reinforcement is referred to punishment or reprimand, which emphasizes the idea of non-repetition or undesirable behavior. So, for example, is the children. Her mother told her that she need to do her homework, but eventually she not finish her homework because she plays some video games. So her parents punish her by removing her gadgets para for that their undesirable behavior is non-repeated or hindi na naulit kung ginawa niya. Classical conditioning. Behavior is associated with two or more stimulus. So, the stimulus is referred how our body organism react to what is happening around us. Kung ano yung, it is the reaction of our body organism. Kung ano yung nangyayari sa paligid natin. Behavioral theory by Fergus Akers. They expanded the differential association and includes element of behavior theory and behavior modification. So, it explained the elements of behavior is it explained on how develop, change, and control of the behavior of a person. So, the behavior modification, it is the process or technique on how to modify the undesirable behaviors. These expansions allow them to identify the learning process and includes elements such as the operant behavior, respondent conditioning, discriminative stimuli, and schedules of reinforcement. So, the neutralization theory by David Matsam and Chris Hans Sacke. The view that law violators learn to neutralize conventional values and attitude, enabling them to drift back and forth between the criminals and conventional behaviors. So this explains that how they neutralize the conventional attitude or this enabling o nagpapahintulot sa kanila na dahan-dahang bumalik at magpatuloy sa pagitan ng criminal and conventional behaviors. So the conventional behaviors refers to the social norms and the accepted practices of the society. Drift movement in and out of delinquency, shifting between conventional and deviant values. So, naturalized techniques. So, number one is denial of responsibility. Offenders claim that it is not their fault, but the result of process beyond their control and their accident. So they claim that there is not their control. Hindi nila kasalanan. It results daw ng pwersa sa likod ng kanilang their control and accidents. Denial of injury. By denying the injury caused by their acts, criminals deterrence illegal action. O naniniwala sila na walang pinsala o epekto ang kanilang undesirable behaviors. So, denials of the victim. So, by maintaining that the victim had it coming. So, naniniwala sila na dapat ang maling ginawa nila sa kanilang mga biktima. Condemnation of condemners. By shifting the blame to others criminals. So, binabaling nila yung blame sa ibang criminals to repress their feelings o para pigilan yung feelings nila sa kanilang mga maling gawa. Appeals to higher authorities. They often argue that our caught in dilemma by being loyal to their peer groups who are attempting to attempt or abide by the rules of society. So, nag-argue daw sila na nagkakaroon ng dilemma for being loyal o takot na sa grupo at susubukan niya o they attempt to abide o sumunod sa rules ng society. Cognitive theory. The psychological perspective that focuses on mental process and how perceive the mental represent the world around them and to solve the problem. So, the cognitive theory daw is the psychological theory o kung paano inuunawa ng isang tao at kung paano nire-represent paano siya nagre-represent sa mundo and kung paano na nasusolve yung problema. So, sabi dito, he believed that crime are primarily normal. The criminals are primary normal peoples, or crime is simple, a normal learned behavior. So, sabi dito, normal na natutunang pag-ugali. Ang crime daw is normal na natutunang pag-ugali. He proposed the law of imitation, which posited that behavior was said to follow as though ideas he proposed the inferior usually imitate the superior. So, sabi na dito, the law of imitation is that proposed the inferior usually imitate the superior. So, sabi dito, ang mababa is kinagaya ang mataas o ang nakakataas. John Piaget, the founder of moral development theory, is concerned with the way the people morally represent reason about the world. So these are the stages: sensory motor, pre-operational, and concrete operational, and formal operational. So, stages of cognitive development. Sensory motors is birth to 18 months to 24 months, understanding the based on immediate experience and action. They understand the world through senses. Nakakaintindi sila is through senses. So, sensory motors. Pre-operational. This refers to 2 to 7 years old. They understand, become more conceptual, o may kakayahan na silang mag-isip o umunawa. For example na lang is, may kakayanan na silang magbilang, umintindi ng mga shapes and mga animals. Letters. Dito sa concrete operational, ages to 7 to 11 years old. Our children engage in objective, logical, and mental processes. So, dito sa Asia to is nagkakaroon na sila, nagiging logically thinker na sila, and dito na nagkakaroon sila ng mental process. So, this age na to is nagpa-process na yung kanilang mental behavior. For example is may kakayahan na silang umunawa ng emotion ng isang tao. So, formal, operational, adultness to adulthood, can think abstract. O dito is full develops yung ating brain. So, they can think abstract ideas. So, personality and crime. So, personality traits predict crime because it suggests that the root cause of crime can be found in the forces that influence human behavior. So the personality is they predict the crime because this is the root of crime na nahanap o pwersa na naka-influence sa human development ng isang tao. So the intelligence and crime is refers to the many delinquents and criminals have below average intelligence quotient, and the low IQ is cause of their criminalities. So it refers to the intelligence and crime is refers to the low IQ. It's may cause of their criminality. O yung criminality nila is nagkakos dahil they have the average intelligence or low IQ. Nurture theory argues that intelligence is largely determined by genetically, that answer 3 determines IQ, and that low intelligence, as demonstrated by law, is linked to criminal behavior. So, sabi dito, yung nature of theories that the intelligence is, namamana siya, and determines that the low IQ intelligence is demonstrated by low linked criminality. So, sabi dito, ang mababang IQ daw is napupunta siya sa criminal behavior o criminal na pag-uugali. Henry Goddard advocate the theory is flabby-mindedness. A person is unable to appreciate the consequences of this action. So, sabi dito, ang the person daw is hindi niya na-appreciate yung mga consequences ng behavior niya. Nurture theory states that intelligence is not heritable. Low IQ parents does not necessarily produce the low IQ children. Instead, they postulated that the environment stimulation from parents, relatives, social contracts, and peer groups creates the child's IQ levels. That low IQ is result of the environment but also encourage the growth and criminal behavior. So sabi dito sa nurture theory, it says that the intelligence is not heritage. So sabi, the intelligence is hindi siya namamana. If your parents is not if the IQ of parent that necessary produce the low IQ children. So sabi, ang mababang IQ ng parents is hindi naman ibig sabihin na low IQ din ang kanyang anak. Sabi dito, it's instead postulated the environment stimulation. Sabi, dahil daw ito sa parents, relatives, social contracts at is a fear o takot na kaya nagiging low IQ ang isang tao is the result daw ito from environment or social interactions. At ito daw is nauuwi sa delinquent or criminal behavior or nauuwi siya sa di ka nais-nais na gawain or criminal behaviors or criminal na pag-uuwi.